We have public health and safety, an area that's been critically important for not only our community but the rest of the world during this pandemic. First up, we have Greg Meagard with the Big Sky Fire Department, a local government special purpose district established in 1971. It is governed by a board of 5 locally elected directors, and the Big Sky Fire Department district covers 80.4 square miles. Big Sky Fire Department continues to grow to meet the staggering growth in our fire district. We are constantly looking for ways to improve our community engagement and participation. We utilize a mix of outreach efforts that include social media campaigns, educational events, and school programs. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Meagard and say thanks for putting some of those fires out that happened.
Thank you, Danny. Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here. I really thought Sheriff Springer would get up here first and then it'd be easy for me to transition in, but hey, we flipped it up tonight. Actually, I was hoping to be the shortest one tonight, but Water Sewer District just blew that goal out of the water, so no pun intended. As Danny said, everything we do is about community service, and that's serving the people that live, visit this community. And we've seen a trend through development, through emergency calls, that our call volume continuing to trend up tremendously every year. You can see the dip, as everybody's talked about, in 2020, based on COVID, how that affected with the resort shutting down, and how that affected our emergency calls. But over the last 5 years, we've seen this trend just continue to go up. And so we see that with development. This is just land use permits in Gallatin County for this community. And you can see that trend continues to fall. So with the development comes demand for services. Demand for services impacts not only fire, law, search and rescue, every aspect of this community that you heard about tonight. So you can see, this doesn't count Madison County. As Danny said, we're 80.4 square miles of fire district. That covers 2 counties, 2 county commissions that we work with. And then last is public education. This is the foundation of what we love to do. We love to go out to the schools, the communities. And unfortunately, 2020, COVID just shut that down for us, and it was heartbreaking because we'd love to get out and speak with the kids, go to the schools, teach them fire prevention, education. So we tried to adapt a little bit, doing a little more outside this year, but we're hoping next year in 2022, knock on wood, that COVID sort of goes away and we can get back into the schools, educating folks on what we do and how we do it. And last thing I noticed on the post office, apparently we need to do a fire inspection there because it looks like their fire load's beyond control. So with that, thank you.
Thanks, Chief, and thanks for all you do to make Big Sky better together. Next up, we have Greg Clark with the Big Sky Search and Rescue, a nonprofit that was established in 1992 and has a board of 9 directors. Big Sky Search and Rescue is a volunteer organization that provides rescue services for Big Sky residents and our visitors in need of aid while on our trails and in the backcountry where other emergency services cannot be accessed. And with that, I'll turn it over to Greg.
Thank you so much. I did want to take this opportunity to thank Resort Tax as a volunteer member of this community going through this process. They've made it so easy and awesome, and having events like this is really cool, so I appreciate that. I also wanted to take this moment to recognize some of the volunteers that we have in this community that we provide to Big Sky and Gallatin County as a whole, and I think this is like one example that we have of just a tremendous community member that does a lot of volunteer work to do search and rescue, coroner work, canine rescue work, you name it. Heather Walker does those things for this community. So I think she's an example of the many talented people that we have here at Search and Rescue. We have a lot of equipment that was purchased by Resort Tax money that is here if you guys would like to look at it. And we have a lot of exciting things coming, both in an upstream approach to search and rescue with making sure people don't get lost, but also some exciting stuff coming with the county and more partnerships with neighboring members of West Yellowstone and the Valley. So if you want to come see us, talk to us, answer any questions, and thank you, Heather.
Well, the bar is high when you bring a dog in. Next up is Bozeman Health Big Sky Medical Center and Taylor Rose representing Big Sky Medical Center, a nonprofit which was established in 2015. Big Sky Medical Center is the primary local provider of emergency and non-emergency services in Big Sky. They offer a broad array of health services to meet the community needs, and with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Rose.
Thanks, Danny. Again, Peter Rose. Thank you. So currently, Big Sky Medical Center is a critical access hospital located here in Big Sky. We've been open since 2015, and since then we've seen incredible growth in the community, and we've been striving to address those needs. We're also working to meet the need for the COVID-19 pandemic. Right now, we've since the pandemic started, we added 4 additional beds. We've continued hospital operations. Recently, with contributions from BizRad, local community foundations, we've been able to build out our supply chain space and purchase a high-capacity PCR test machine for COVID tests, which will give us the ability to pretty much meet a 24-hour turnaround time for any testing needs in the community. So that is the current plan. We're continuing to do COVID vaccine administrations on every single Wednesday. And just for your information, we're going to roll out all 3 Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J boosters for all those that need those. And we'll be ready to give vaccines to children when those get approved. So let's see, new and improved services in the last year that the community should probably know that we have, so you're not driving all around the county to try and find these or around the state. Ultrasound services, 1 day a week we offer ultrasound. You can schedule those. We have a behavioral health program expansion. Thanks to the community donations and involvement there, we've been able to really bolster the behavioral health providers in the area. Dr. Maidman is one of those, and a few other providers in the community that now have direct access here in Big Sky, which is a big deal. We have new physicians in the emergency department and primary care clinic. We basically moved to a emergency trained physician in the emergency department. So you're getting those emergency trained physicians instead of like family medicine trained physicians, which is what it was when it first opened. We are working to build out a swing bed program, which will give skilled nursing level of care, basically like a nursing home level of care here in Big Sky. As a critical access hospital, we're allowed to do that by CMS and Medicare. We're working to do infusion services, and we're also working on our level 3 trauma designation for Big Sky. That's about an 18-month process. We've hired our coordinator, and so we're starting down that path. We also do a lot of community outreach here. There's the Healthcare Connections, the bus that comes around Big Sky that offers free healthcare to people who need it, vaccines, basic checkups, and stuff like that. We participate in the Behavioral Health Coalition with Big Sky, and we also have our Community Health Needs Assessment, and I would encourage all those in the community to participate in that. That is a collaborative effort where your voice is used to kind of give us our future and what we need to focus on. When the voice of the community said we needed behavioral health, that helped us drive our strategy in behavioral health. So you can go on bozemanhealth.org -CHNA, and you can look that up and participate. So that is all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor, and thanks for all you and the Big Sky Medical Center are doing to keep Big Sky better together. Next up, we have Gallatin County. Oh, did you take my clicker?
Let's do it.
We have Commissioner Scott McFarland representing Gallatin County with an update on the Gallatin County Law and Justice Center. Gallatin County is a local government that was established in 1865. I think you've got the longest running old-time award, so congratulations. It's governed by post office. And is governed by 3 county commissioners. Gallatin County and its over 500 employees provide services to the citizens and visitors of Gallatin County, ranging from public safety and roads to land use planning, elections, and a whole lot more than those things as well. So with that, turn it over to Commissioner McFarland.
Thanks, Danny. I wasn't certain I was going to have visual aids, but I should always assume that I'm going to have a presentation, right? So we've been giving this presentation all over the county recently, but I recognize that 50 people in here, a lot of you are Madison County residents. So this is specifically for those voters in Gallatin County that haven't yet turned in their ballots, which we've already received a lot of ballots, so I think a lot of you probably already turned your ballots in. But our priority to speak with people today, because it's kind of the subject of the moment, is our courts building item you're going to see on your ballot. Those of you that have been voting in Gallatin County for several years might recognize this item from the past, something we've been calling the Law and Justice Center for 2 iterations. Now in this 3rd iteration, it is no longer the Law and Justice Center, it's the courts facility, because we have removed the law part from the programming of the building. It has been a drastically reduced scope and programming presentation for the community. We think what we heard from the community was that the project was too big, was too many things, so we really reduced it to what we can very strongly say is the most important thing for your county today for us to ask you for. There's a lot in our presentation and our slides. Sometimes I can take 30 minutes to give this presentation, but you can certainly come over to our booth and talk with me more about the building if you have any questions about the facility, what's going to be in it. The high points here are why we need it. Basically, we are in a building that was never intended to be a public facility, a public critical infrastructure facility. We're currently in a Catholic high school building that was built privately, funded privately, and meets none of the codes you would think of a modern building. We've been in that building way too long and have been representing the community for years that we need to provide a better facility for a lot of these critical services for your community. Our judicial system in Gallatin County is a major priority of your county government. We are required to provide that service for you. We currently have 3 district court judges, but have programming justification for 7. We have recently been able to convince the Montana Supreme Court to award us a 4th. We will have a 4th district court judge next year, and we have nowhere to put that judge. This is an effort to find a place to put that judge. I'm not clicking through because I know I'm not following the order of what this is going to show, but we just have some representations and renderings of what the building looks like. If you're familiar where the current Law and Justice Center is, at the corner of 19th and College in downtown Bozeman, we're staying on that location. We'll be ending our relationship with that old building and tearing it down. That's the goal, and moving all court operations into here. Other programming that's in that building, we have other plans for the sheriff's office. We have some other facilities and some other investments to make there. The county attorney's programming will be in other locations as well. So we're really representing that the county courts building is an absolute priority for the community. It's long overdue, as we say here. If you'd like to talk more with us about this, I'd love to explain the particulars of what's happening in that building and what we plan for it. But we have 1 week until the votes are all in, and I really don't want to do this again. I've done it twice, but Commissioner Skinner has done this 3 times, and it is time to be done asking people for this building. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McFarland, and all that you do to help make Big Sky better together. Side note, a huge thank you to Scott for serving on a subcommittee that BizRad is working cross-county collaboration amongst Madison and Gallatin counties. I think we have actually a meeting tomorrow made up of Kevin Germain and Jim Hart, but we'll find a replacement for Jim now that he is resigned. Next up, we have Sheriff Springer, I believe, with the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, a local government that is also folded under Gallatin County, established in 1865. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office is responsible for the public safety of all Gallatin County residents and visitors. We are also responsible for the public safety of those residents and visitors in Madison County who we contract services with.
Dan. So I'm Dan Springer. I'm Gallatin County Sheriff. We contract with Madison County, so we do their law enforcement services here as well. We've got Dan Springer, and Dan Hayden. So Dan Hayden is the sergeant up here in Big Sky. And he is essentially what I would say is your police chief for Big Sky. And he runs our office of 6 up here and does an amazing job with it. We'll go over some of this stuff. We have about 140 employees. The county talked about 500 employees for the county, 140 of those in the sheriff's office. You have 6 deputies that patrol in the Big Sky general area. We have 2 in West Yellowstone to make it 8. We have seen a significant increase in our call volume up here, up to about 10% every year. COVID did not slow us down. In fact, apparently when people are together too often, they don't get as long as well. We actually saw an increase in call volumes, in very specific call volumes actually. But we are seeing about a 10% increase in our call volumes here. And Big Sky itself accounts for up to 20% of all of our calls for Gallatin County's law enforcement. So that's a pretty significant number for 6 deputies. So we know that this is increasing here. In the next few years, we expect that we will see likely asking for 2 more deputies in the next couple of years, and then probably another couple more deputies to add a detective and whatnot to this area, so that they can start working more of the felony cases. Currently, the larger felony cases are covered by our detectives down in the valley. So I suspect that we're going to see a significant growth. One of the areas that we're going to be looking at is where we're housed up here. We've been partners with the fire department for a long time, and we expect that that'll continue possibly. I know that there's a lot of stuff in the works, but we would like to see some kind of facility where we actually have areas that are not just kind of closet spaces. So we are working with our commissioners, we're working with the fire department, working with BizRad to kind of make that happen. It'd be nice to have our regular interview rooms, office space, places for the public to come in that's a little more welcoming than what we currently are in. So I suspect that'll be one of the topics in the next few years as well. We have, again, we do the coroner work, we do all the detention work. The sheriff's office has a lot more responsibilities than people really realize. We do all the civil service processing, courts. There's a lot of work that goes on in the sheriff's office. Search and rescue is also one of our things. We're partners with the nonprofit group here. We're seeing a nice transition of all of our search and rescues to start kind of working as a one organization, which has been really great to see. So that's coming, that's been happening this last year since about January. That is not me. So arts and culture is not me, if anyone knows me. What else? Dan, what do you have? Do you have anything specific you want to talk about?
No, we just really appreciate being a part of this community. I've been down here since last September, coming back from starting my career here down in 2012. And something that I just really love about our sheriff's office and the community in Big Sky is that just about everybody that I run into knows one of my deputies by their first name. And I really, really like getting to police in a community where people know me as Dan, and people know Doug, and people know Travis. And so we appreciate you guys having us and treating us with such respect and letting us be a part of the community.
You know, one thing really quick, sorry Danny.
You're good.
Give a politician a microphone, that's the way it goes. So one of the things that is going to be an issue for us is housing. And our contract requires our deputies to live in the Big Sky area. We have 2 that are required to live in the Madison County portion of Big Sky, and the other 4 have to live in the Big Sky portion, south of the canyon, the mouth of the canyon, south. So that's an issue that I know is going to continue to be an issue for us. We're meeting with Madison County Commissioners as well as BizRad to kind of go over some possible changes to that. But it goes directly to what Dan was talking about. We like having our deputies assigned here so that you all know them by their first names and that their kids go to school here and they're involved in this community. That's a big thing for law enforcement. And we want to continue that trend as best we can. So that is something that will be going forward in the future.